going to be making a garlic, tomato, basil dressing next. And this just requires a couple of ingredients. We're going to be using our Vitamix. You can be using any kind of blender that you might have at home. It's not a big deal. Whatever you have will work. The first ingredient that we'll be using today is the tomato. So we're going to be using a Roma tomato. You can use any kind of tomato that you find in your store. So whatever you can find in your produce section or whatever your preference is, or if you grow tomatoes, you can use those. But we'll be using Roma tomatoes today. And we're using actually 2 Roma tomatoes. And we've gone ahead and pre-chopped those tomatoes. We're just going to put them straight into the blender. Okay, those bright colored fruits and vegetables are great. They're high in antioxidants. They're great cancer fighters. The second ingredient, we're going to be using 2 yellow squash today. You can use zucchini if you want, or you can use the yellow squash. We've gone ahead and chopped that up ahead of time. We're just going to add that yellow squash to the blender. Okay, and you can just chop it up. You don't have to peel the skin or anything like that. Squash is excellent as far as alkalizing the body. And we say, an acid body is a diseased body. So the more we alkalize, the healthier our bodies can be. So we have 2 yellow squash in the blender. Then we're going to go ahead and do 4 cloves of garlic. Of course, your garlic in the store looks like this. This is a bulb of garlic. There are several cloves in there. And they're easy to get access to. It looks something like this. You're just going to take that skin off, and you're going to have a little bulb of garlic here, a clove of garlic. We're going to add 4 cloves of garlic to this. So we've got 4 cloves of garlic. We don't need to chop it up because the blender is going to do that for us. So the next ingredient then would be 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So you'll want to go ahead and squeeze some lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. We're going to add that in there for some flavor, some vitamin C, and also some fluid, some liquid. Then we're going to go ahead and add some seasoning here. We have a tablespoon of dried basil. Okay, so basil, we're going to put some basil in there and dry. You can use fresh basil if you want. You want to add a little bit more if you're using fresh. Fresh is fine, but the dried basil definitely has a concentrated flavor. So we're just going to add the dried today. Herbs typically help with the digestion, so it's nice to add herbs whenever you can. And the last ingredient we're going to use today is kelp powder. So kelp powder, we're using a teaspoon of kelp powder. We're just going to add that straight to the blender. Kelp powder is just a common seaweed. It's working instead of salt, so we're not using salt in this recipe, but it adds a nice salty taste to the dressing we're doing today. So it's also full of minerals, so the trace minerals that are often lacking in our foods that are so important for our overall health and well-being. So that is, those are the ingredients that go into our garlic, tomato, basil dressing. I'm just going to put the lid on here, and we're going to blend. All right. Oh, that smells so good. I can smell that garlic. Wow, amazing. If you want a thinner dressing, you can always add a little bit of water, or you can add a little bit more lemon juice if you want, but those vegetables are nice and watery, so you should have a nice fluid salad dressing. I'm just going to go ahead and pour that into the bowl. Beautiful. Oh, that smells so good. Wow. Excellent. And I'm just going to garnish that with a little bit of cilantro. Beautiful. So we have a garlic, tomato, basil dressing. Enjoy.